In the grand theater of life, we all seek a comeback, a resurgence, a rekindling of our inner fire. But how do we spark that flame? Welcome to Reignite Resilience. This is not just another podcast. This is a journey, a venture into the heart of human spirit, the power of resilience, and the art of reigniting our passions.
Welcome back to another episode of Reignite Resilience. I am your co-host, Natalie Davis, and I am so excited to be back with you all today. Joining me is none other than the fabulous Pam Cass. Hi, Pam. How are you?
I always love my intros. So first of all, because our listeners have been listening to these episodes,
yes.
What day of your cleanse are you on, and what are you now eating?
Oh, lovely. Yes. So today is day 11. I am 11 days into a 16-day cleanse. It is good. And I actually, so fun fact, just came back from a 4-day camping trip with a couple of girlfriends. And I meal prepped everything going into that, packed the cooler with all of my meals so I didn't get the temptation of having s'mores or cocktails by the fire. You know, it's fine. I drank water and I had my meal prep, but I'm on day 11. And then today is a special day because we are actually having steak today, steak and salad. So I'm
That's it? Like today you get steak, salad, and what? Coffee, water, tomato?
Steak, salad, and coffee. That's dinner. Yes.
Steak, salad, and coffee. All right.
It's not too bad. I'm hanging in there. And at this point, I'm like, if I quit now or give up now, I'm just going to like beat myself up. So yeah, I'm like 5-day countdown. And today, actually, I was like, okay, what's my reward when this is all done? Nothing really sounds great. Like my go-to things like gummy bears or chocolate cupcakes. That doesn't sound good.
I say shopping, maybe a pair of shoes.
I don't really need a reason to buy shoes, but that could be a good reward. Maybe it's okay. There are special pair of shoes that I need to get. That's true. Yes, I'll do that. Oh my goodness. Well, I am excited for today's episode because we have a special guest joining us today. I'm so looking forward to our discussion. So Pam, why don't you tell us and tell our listeners who's joining us?
I'm so excited. So today we have Miss Patty Weible, and not only is she a guest, but she is a friend, a travel companion, a confidant. So someone that's been in my life for a little while, for both of our lives. And yeah, I'm just so excited for her to be here. So she is the mom of 3 amazing kids. She is in finance and operations executive for 30 years across many industries, high tech, med tech, education, real estate, and healthcare. Through many twists and turns in her life, she's thankful for the career opportunities she has had. She has a passion for involvement in the community. She lives and volunteers where she can make the biggest difference and add value through organizations like Women Gives, Respite Care, and Dementia Together. So excited for you to be with us today, Patty. It took us a minute to get you on our books, but we are finally here because you are a busy woman. So yeah, share your story, because you've got a really inspiring story, and I think it's going to resonate with a lot of people.
Oh, thanks, Pam. Thanks for that nice introduction. And I am so excited to be with you ladies on this. And thanks for inviting me and being patient with our scheduling and all that.
Well, you have a great excuse. I mean, you have been prancing all over the world, so we'll take that.
I know. You would talk about that too. I know.
Yes.
Finally. So, yeah.
Love it.
So gosh, my story. So native Colorado, born and raised in Black Forest, actually, for the most part, Colorado Springs, born on the Air Force Academy. My dad was a Army colonel. But awesome. Black Forest was a really great place to grow up. And my dad was still active duty and I'm a twin. So my twin sister and I were born there, and lived in Thailand for a couple years, and then Texas before he retired, and we moved back to Colorado Springs. But super neat family. And so grew up in the forest, kind of didn't really realize how great life was, right? When you're growing up, I used to train and show quarter horses, and didn't realize the example my parents had set for me too, because both of them were so involved in our school and in the community that we were in. And at the time, I remember thinking, I'm like, I just want to get out of here, right? I want to be like a big girl and go to a big college and get an education and be a big girl, right? And And then I guess now that I'm getting to the closer end of thinking about retiring, I'm like, man, that'd be really cool to go back and right,
Of
live
course.
in the forest and have horse
Because they figured it out. Yeah.
Yeah, right. They're so much smarter than we give them credit for when we
And
really
I know
Yes.
you had some fun in the forest, because I remember hearing about a little party that was thrown at your house that ended up.
I gotta have a record for that one. Like, yeah. I know. And here, my dad's retired Army colonel. He's um at a military retirement party in Virginia, my senior year of high school. And I was pretty social in high school. And so definitely like to go out and do things, and decided I was going to throw this massive party, kind of like risky business, while he was out of town. So and so my best friend and I got this all together. Her boyfriend at the time, who was in college, was nice enough to draw us, a map of a waiter in this map that got out to our house in Black Forest, and went and printed like 1,500 copies and handed them out at the mall.
On the copy machine.
Uh-huh.
And that
Yep.
sounds very safe, just handing out
Right?
flyers at the mall.
It's a little bit safer then than it is now. Yeah. And so, and I remember standing, I drew a map of the house, and I put all the furniture in the back corners of the house. And, so it was just carpet and walls, and put sheets up over the bookcases. And
Oh
so,
my gosh.
yeah, it was very well thought out. And then people started arriving, and I had people, like, we took the back 10 acres and turned it into a big parking lot. I had parking attendants that like lined the cars up.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And I remember, and I charged $3 at the door for people to come in, and had a few
Love it.
beer on tap. And yeah, it was I try to kind of keep that on the down low with my children now, so that they don't repeat my behavior.
Yes.
I got in a lot of trouble for that party after the fact. So, but I remember when the police came, and they, were walking me to the police car. The officer waved at his sister as she was running by to leave.
Oh, how funny.
And we get into the squad car, and he's like, "I have to give you a 10 for organization."
Oh my
And
gosh.
So yeah, that was quite the adventure.
Running companies and stuff like that. So
Right.
Yes.
all
Yes.
very
Right. When I got married, I just told my dad it was just an organized party. That's why I was so good at planning it. So I have my high school reunion actually coming up this weekend. So reminder that I'm on the committee to help plan that.
Of course you are. Of course. I don't think you'll ever get off of the committee. They're like, Patty throws the best and most organized parties. She's on the committee. Guaranteed.
All right, I digress. I am sorry. I had to throw that in there because as soon as you start
heard some of the stories, yeah.
Black Forest, it's like, oh,
Yes.
yeah, love it.
That's so much fun. That's
good.
fun.
So
Yeah.
keep going back.
So, graduated high school, they let me out, and went to CU, a couple different campuses, and got my undergrad in finance, and then went to work in high tech, which was awesome. I really, really enjoyed that. Many mergers and acquisitions through that process. It's pretty incestuous industry, especially, just outside of Boulder, where there's a lot of high tech companies, but very, internationally coordinated with, with companies that are all over the world. So did that, took about a year off from my undergrad, and then went right back in to school and got my master's degree at night. So working full time, going to school full time. So did my master's degree in international business, and then did a little bit of high tech. So I was Quantum at first, then Sun Microsystems, got bought out by Oracle, and I was there for about 15 years. But left Oracle because I really was realizing that my passion was in charter schools, because I had kiddos in charter schools, and I felt like they really needed some good financial management, super passionate educators. But I was happy to be able to wear my finance hat. I was got elected to the school board, and really just realized the complexities of it and how important it was that they manage their finances well. So from there, I actually left high tech and went into consulting and did consulting for charter schools. I think I was probably about 4 years that I had done that. And then in the meantime, kind of towards the end of that, went through a divorce, had to have I was driving all over the state really in all hours of the, days and nights, reporting to different boards from Castle Rock to all the way up to Longmont. And so a lot of time on the road, and Jack was itty bitty baby. Actually had him while I was doing the consulting work. So um, decided really I needed benefits. I needed a stable schedule as I was going through my divorce, and then went to Medtronic. So that's where I was doing med tech, which was fascinating to me. I was really fortunate on the projects that I got to work with for them. So I was in navigation, so it's kind of brain and spine surgery, but from a finance lens. So I was able to analyze different products that they were considering developing, and then running ROI analysis, return on investment, to see what the returns long term would be, and making recommendations on what they could or should develop. And that was heartbreaking because I wanted them to develop everything, because the technology is amazing.
Yeah.
And the impact that could have on people's lives was fascinating, and so hopeful, for people who were struggling with epilepsy or brain tumors, and those type of really impactful life situations. So, but had in the meantime had moved to Fort Collins, where I get to meet you lovely ladies. And I was commuting to Boulder from Fort Collins, which was about 3 hours a day on the highway, which was a lot. And ran into a dear friend that I grew up with in Black Forest, who put my name in the hat to be a CFO for a real estate company in Fort Collins. So was very blessed to get that job, and did that for about 5 years, and just loved it. Loved the people I met, which is where I met both of you, and many, many other awesome people. And then I left that about a year ago, and now I'm back in healthcare doing finances for an orthopedic group. So that's kind of the career side of me. And I feel like good finances they apply across multiple industries. So it's really interesting to apply what I learned in one industry to other industries that I get to work in. And I can help a lot of nonprofits. And like you mentioned in the intro, I have a real passion for Women Give. It's an amazing organization that supports childcare for single moms, and then Dementia Together. I'm pretty new in that organization, but it's an amazing organization that helps people and their families and caregivers with dementia. And then, of course, respite care, which is really unique in Larimer and now Weld County, but they provide an amazing service to the community here. So, and I get to help them too with their finances. So it's great.
Love that.
Skills to help these nonprofits to even grow and just be even more efficient and help more people.
Yeah.
Well, Patty, 30 years, I think you had in terms of experience with executive level or being on the finance side. So kind of that C-suite experience as a female in that space. What has been your, I would say, largest learning opportunity, or maybe the most exciting experience that you've had? Because I can't imagine that it's easy to navigate that space as a female leader.
I guess my approach, it's definitely with gratitude, right?
Yeah.
That I'm so thankful that I have the opportunity to do that. And I definitely, the energy that I get in my soul is, helping other people grow in their careers. And I absolutely love learning how different business models work, which I think is part of where my interest across industry lines is. But really understanding, what are the levers, and where's the best place to focus to be successful, and what are the landmines you need to watch out for. And it's very different across, some places have inventory and some people have students, and there's different revenue drivers, there's different expense drivers. So being able to communicate that, but have a different lens on that, and maybe a different way of looking at things, I love building models and that type of thing. And really every role that I've ever had, I've been able to add value that way by really looking at the industry and understanding how they can grow and how they can a different lens on how they can focus on their business.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how things cross industries.
Cross industries. Absolutely. Yeah.
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 And I think in northern Colorado and in this community, there's a lot of very bright, powerful women that come together, men and women, but being a female in that role and being able to collaborate, but also show other women that you set your goals at whatever you want to do and you can get there. My mom told me that from such a young age, and I think I kind of put that in my bio. Is I feel so blessed that my parents both, in different ways, but both showed me that you set your mind to something and you work hard and you can do whatever you want to do. And I believe that, like, deep down in my soul, that you can absolutely do that, and to give that advice to other young professionals in their career to be able to do that is pretty awesome.
Yeah. Wow. Well, congrats. That's a fabulous, I think just when you're looking at the journey that you've had from a professional standpoint, it's phenomenal. And the fact that you've had opportunities that have presented themselves, that's given you the chance to be creative and be that visionary and build. I mean, I think that's answering and responding to that creative desire that burns within you.
Yeah.
Because that doesn't come with finance necessarily.
I feel like I'm a pretty social finance person.
I know.
So absolutely makes it so fun.
Yes, I love that. I love that. Well, and you mentioned your son, but as you're building this fabulous career, you're also building a family, and you went through life change with
Yep.
going through a divorce. Kind of talk to us about that part of life over the last couple of years for you.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's interesting because I call my weekly team meeting with all my direct reports. I call it the finance huddle on Monday mornings, and I have a deck of cards that's like a conversation deck, and so we always start with that because it's just such a great icebreaker, and it lets us get to know each other. And just added 2 brand new team members, so it's a great way for them to start to get to know everybody. And the question this week was, what is your greatest accomplishment? And so, there's a lot of things in so many different ways, and there's so many great accomplishments that I hope that everybody has, right? But you can think about career, you can think about school, you can think about your family, and I just in my mind kept going back to, I am so proud of my kids, and I have 3 wonderful kids. So my oldest is 26 and a school teacher. She's amazing. I have a daughter who's 19 and just launched, and she's trying to figure out. She finished high school a year ahead of Dylan, same school, and just finished her first year at CSU, and really trying to figure out what does she want to do with her life. But the sky's the limit. And then of course Jack, who he's almost 11, he's 10 now, but so I have a broad range of kiddos. But I would say I feel like my greatest accomplishment right now is creating the stability and the opportunities in his life and how well he is doing, just based on where his challenges are. And so and I remember interviewing too for the position that I'm in now, and they had asked about, one of the questions was, what are one of your life goals? And really, I feel like one of my life goals is to do everything I can to provide the resources and the love and care and support for Jack to have a happy, productive life, right? And so he is on the autism spectrum. And I really feel like, being able to see the world through his eyes, is a huge blessing. I have strong faith, and I feel like God definitely picked me to be his mama. And to, just it's such a different experience to see what, you expect. You're having a child, young mom who's saying, oh, he's going to play soccer or he's going to play football, and all of those, what you think is this traditional childhood, and that's not where Jack's interests are, right?
Yeah.
And it's not. It could be his strengths if he decided that that's what he wanted to focus on, but that's definitely not what he enjoys doing, right? He
Yeah.
actually, he's so bright and he's so fun and so loving, and he obviously he loves computers, and he has his own YouTube channel at 10 years old. And
Love that.
yeah, and he makes videos and they're really good, and he'll layer in music with them, and he has a pretty big following. He has like hundreds of followers that,
Yeah.
watch him on his YouTube channel, and
Love
um,
it.
really creative. He's a good drawer, and he builds his own games. So at 10 years old, he's writing code to make computer games, and so it's just so much different than what I expected. But um, it's so cool to see him connect and just take on those challenges, right?
Mhm.
And it's forced me to, I don't know, forced me, but I find that I'm more interested in like doing more research on, what does it mean to, raise a child with autism, and how can I be a better parent? How can I make, you know, how, because I feel like if he were born, like if he were me, right, I think it would have been much tougher than it is today, because I feel like the world is especially, where we're at, in Colorado, in the United States, there's so much more accepting, and there's so many more resources, and people realize, what is um, autism spectrum disorder, and how can we help kids, and the education environment is so much more supportive towards that. So I'm so much, I'm just so thankful that it's today that he's experiencing all of that.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
So
How old was he when he was diagnosed with autism? Or did
he
you
was,
know prior?
well, yeah, he was pretty young. He
Yes.
about the earliest they say that you can take them through the tests and really start diagnosing if they're on the spectrum is about 3 years old. I
Okay.
feel like I knew right away. Just,
Mm,
just because he, wasn't as verbal when he was really little.
yeah.
And he was just intensely focused on things. And just so, like, it is an example, I remember having these alphabetic magnets. We've all had those for our kiddos on the
Yep.
refrigerator, right? Teaching them the
Yes.
alphabet and all the different colors. And I mean, he had that down at like 2 years old, and he
Mm,
knew on letter A what color K was, or M, or O.
wow.
So not only did he have them memorized by what the right letter is, but he had them memorized by what color each of those letters were.
Yeah.
And when he was fascinated by planets at a really young age, and he knew every exact order of all the planets and why each planet was special at like 3,
Mm,
right?
wow.
And I had to, how you're like, are you, that show they had, like, are you smarter than your fifth grader?
Yes,
Right?
exactly.
I
Yes.
felt like, I'm like, I got to look up this planet
You're
stuff.
like, hold on, let me do a quick research on the planets.
Next one.
Oh
So
my gosh.
yeah, so he's just and not that I thought that was necessarily a problem, but I just knew it was unique,
Yeah.
but certain words, and he had a really hard time making eye contact, and I tried to work with him on that. So, and he's, since we got him diagnosed at 3, and he's been in speech therapy since then. So, and
Mhm.
he's almost 11, and they've been amazing, and teaching him, and he's great with eye contact now, and verbally, like with your voice, you would think that by being in speech therapy, that's what they're working on. But language is so much more than just, what you speak, right? It's your body language. It's how you read other people's body language. And that's really where he struggles, right?
Mhm.
And you take that for granted because you think, like, wow, how did I learn that? Right. Like,
Yes.
I remember my dad, teaching me how to do a strong handshake and make eye contact, and that type of thing. So I remember those intentional teaching moments, but there's other things that we just take for granted day to day that you just do because you read how other people are reacting to you. And
Yes.
that's not always easy for everybody.
Thank you for joining us on today's episode of Reignite Resilience. We hope that you had amazing ahas and takeaways. Remember to subscribe on your favorite streaming platform, like it, and download the upcoming episodes. And if you know anyone in your life that is looking to continue to ignite their resilience, share it with them. We look forward to seeing you on our future episodes. And until then, continue to reignite that fire within your hearts.